Hi guys, I'm in the car studio right now. Turned on this interior light and I'm going to remember to turn it off so my battery doesn't die. I just want to share for a second how unobservant I am because I have had this condo that I'm in for, oh my God, it was 8 years this year. And there are certain models. So, like, some people have this model, some people have this model, some people have this access to the garage, some people have this access to the garage. And I really only thought there were a couple, maybe three different ways that people got into their garages. And literally, this unit that I see out of the corner of my eye, like every time I turn into my garage, like I only noticed today that there was a door, like for a garage, that like led on this path to their front door. And I swear that I've never seen that in 8 years. Nobody cares about what I just said. It's just, I'm saying I would be a horrible detective, which is, I guess, why I love watching detective shows, because sometimes I can figure it out when I'm watching TV, but in real life, I would miss all of the clues because, yeah. Anyway, I'm filming an intro to a video that I've already made, to two videos I've already made technically, because I'd made a video about my feelings about Top Chef up until episode 11, up through episode 11, but then I didn't get that edited or posted. And so then I added my comments for up through episode 12. And then I posted that last night thinking like, okay, well, I'm posting it on the day that episode 13 is going to come out, but that's okay. I'll just do another video. But then what had happened was I posted that and I had a bunch of clips in it because I thought I was, I try to be fancy, like I try to be like a real YouTuber and stuff. And YouTube told me to go fuck myself, that I could not use those clips. So I got slammed with a copyright thing and my video is not posted. So I'm going to take out all of my clips, which sucks. I mean, it's easy to do, but it sucks because it gives you guys something to look at, not just my face while I'm talking. Maybe I'll try to find some more pictures to put up instead. I'm really disappointed because, it takes a minute to go and, film the clips on my phone and then, crop them and do all this stuff. But that's okay. We're not going to let that stop us. And so I'm going to fix that. But what I'm going to go do first is watch last night's Top Chef, which is our penultimate episode, because this is the final 4 that I'm about to watch, and 3 go to the finale, right? Yes, I've been watching the show for all, 21 seasons, so I should know that that's how it works. So I'm going to watch that right now, drink some coffee, and then I'll film my thoughts on that, and then I'll put that on the end. And this is going to be a really long fucking video. And so only the most diehard of like people who have absolutely nothing to do or put this on again. Put it on while you're cleaning your bathroom and then you can just listen. There's like, they're not going to miss any video clips. Sometimes I do post pictures or, funny little captions, but that's okay. Just put it on, clean your toilet, and then whatever. If you like Top Chef, I'd love to hear what your thoughts are because I have thoughts about Top Chef this season in particular. So anyway, here we go with my thoughts on up through episode 11. And then again, it'll be up through episode 12. And then finally from last night. Okay. Thanks for being here. Bye. Well, I figured I would do a little video because I just went out to dinner with some friends, and so I had makeup on my face, and I thought I would talk about Top Chef. And it's a beautiful night, and then I'm sitting here watching the sunset, and it's absolutely stunning. And so I thought, let me come and talk about Top Chef. And guys, I have to say that I don't remember the last time that I felt so kind of underwhelmed by who was left. Because here's the thing. I tend to like people kind of like their personalities are, obviously you need to cook good food. But I'm also a big I'm big on like personalities and stuff. And that's how I form some emotional attachments. And I feel like all of the people that I had emotional attachments to have gone home. They've all left. And the last one was Michelle. And I really hope that, because, you know, I'm really senile and I forget people's names. And especially if I'm emotionally attached to somebody, you would think that that wouldn't be a thing. Pretty sure her name's Michelle. And in this last episode, she went home. And that was pretty much like my last big emotional attachment that I had. Because, yeah, all the rest of them, like, I remember when I loved Kenny, there was Charlie, Amanda. I really liked Amanda. I even liked Sue. Like, even Sue grew on me, because I think that the only reason that I didn't like Sue initially was because I didn't like that they had switched it up and did this thing where he was the 16th contestant or whatever he was, and that he had to play his way back into the game. And so then I was like, well, damn, he did that because he's a badass cook. And so then I was like, I really like Sue. And then fucking even Sue went home. Like, I did not see that one coming. I would have thought that Sue was going to be there at the finale. The people that we have left are Laura. And I'm not a big Laura fan. And I think that it has started ever when back in that episode where they went shopping. And it was a group challenge, like a team challenge. And she spent like a whole bunch of money on stuff. And like, I think it was Manny who kind of got screwed. Not Manny, it was Danny who kind of got screwed because she spent like a shit ton of money. And I think it was from that episode where I decided I just don't like Laura. So when Laura went home, I was not sad. But then Laura made her way back through the Top Chef finale. And now that Michelle, you know, so they have not the Top Chef finale, the Last Chance Kitchen finale. So of course when, you know, Michelle goes home, it's when we don't even have Last Chance Kitchen anymore. So anyway, Laura, not a big fan of Laura. Savannah, I think, is cooking some really good food, but I don't have an emotional attachment to Savannah. It's not have anything to do with her food. I just don't. Then we have Manny. Now, the way I feel about Manny is that I really liked Manny a lot when he and Kevin were on that team challenge. I thought that they were great. And I don't dislike Manny, but I feel like Manny has managed to skate by when he's done some food that to me didn't seem Top Chef worthy, like that one episode where they had where the guy was like lighting the freaking well, it was like he was lighting this big old thing on fire and they were cooking like white fish or something, and then people had to make like accoutrement for it, you know, and he made like guacamole, but then whatever he did seemed like it was like kind of lazy or something. And I remember him saying something like, oh, you know, I don't have time for like X, Y, or Z. And I remember thinking, oh, that's the kind of thing that they show somebody saying when they're going to go home. Like, you have to like make time to do like X, Y, and Z. And then he didn't go home on that episode. And then there was something this past week, I think what was it this past week, where they had to do everything on the table. Basically, like, look, Michelle, like, really messed up. Like, I know she was trying to do something like do a mosaic or something like that, but they made a perfect points. Like, this would have been her place to shine with the fact that she does barbecue, like, do a big ass barbecue spread. But I think she got caught up in the trying to be like artistic and, you know, to not just do what she does, basically. It's heartbreaking. It's heartbreaking. But anyway, whatever Manny did, I thought maybe between his quick fire and the fact that he was in the bottom, that like he would wind up going home and Michelle would be safe, and like that didn't happen. So I'm a little mad at Manny, because again, I feel like there were a couple times where he kind of probably could have gone home and didn't. And so, especially when Michelle goes home and not him, then, I have an issue with that. And then we have Danny. Danny's been cooking great food for like the whole time. I don't have anything against Danny at all. I like Danny, but again, I didn't. What did they say? You hook your wagon to that person's star or so. To go look at what the saying is. But am I the only, I guess what I'm asking a question. Am I the only person who gets like this with this show? Where you're like, you get your people like early on and you, for whatever reason, like them. And I really tend to be like, this is a person that seems really cool. Like I would like to hang out with them, or they're quirky, or I don't know. I don't know why I decide it should be solely on the food. I understand that. This is Top Chef. It should be solely about the food. And for me, the people that I choose to root for, it doesn't wind up being like that. And I want to know, do other people do the same thing? Anyway, and then we have, I think I've talked about everybody who's left except for Dan. Of the people that are left, I am now rooting for Dan, because I really liked Dan when he was teamed up with Amanda. I love their little, they were both like talking about how they were both nerdy and stuff. I love that Dan is like probably he's the oldest person in the competition, that he's doing all of this, keeping up with these kids and stuff, even with his age, even with the use of a cane and the Kennedy's disease that he has. So, and he's got cool blue glasses. And so Dan is going to be the guy that I'm going to root for. Plus, he is from Wisconsin, I think he's like, this is either his home state, or he's like, I feel like he knew stuff and people and things that were going on there. So I'm kind of thinking that, so that would be fun if that's the case, and I will confirm that. But yeah, I really like Dan, and so I guess that's who I'm going to be, that's definitely who I'm rooting for out of everybody that's left. Now, let's see if this next episode changes my mind. But I'm kind of going to be mad if Manny doesn't go home, because of the cooks that are left, I think that those 4 are better cooks than he is. So, but then again, maybe he'll do something great and redeem himself, and I don't know. This is all silly. It's all silly. Who cares? It's TV, you guys. Okay, so that's my question. How do you decide who you're going to root for? Is it based solely on the food? Who are you rooting for? Has this season been different, like, for you guys without Padma? I love Kristen Kish. Like, I absolutely love her. But I think that there's part of me that is like, I think I'm feeling I feel like there's part of me that is maybe mourning Padma's absence a little bit, that makes it feel not quite like Top Chef. That, and they've changed, and how they decided they were going to change things up. First, the thing was Sue, and then the thing with, we're going to have the quick fire count, if you wind up in the bottom and stuff like that. So, guys, I don't know. Tell me what you think. If you hung in here for this whole thing, thanks for listening. Because, yeah, I have a friend. Oh, shout out to my good friend Blanca, who, said that one of the things that is helping her get through her commute on public transportation is listening to me. And I said, you know what? That's amazing, because I usually tell people, just put this on and like clean your toilet or something. And it's like I'm hanging out with you while you're cleaning the bathroom. But like, also, like, if you have a commute, on some sort of public transportation, you can also put this on, and then it's like I'm commuting with you, and I'm just sitting there like, talking about absolutely nothing during the commute. And like, if it was real life, that would probably be very, very annoying. And also not real life, if, also just listening to me, this could be really annoying. But if you're still here for some reason, you think it's not. So bless. And that's it for today. If you're on YouTube watching this, if you want to like it, if you want to subscribe, that's where you would be watching it, because it's too long to post on the Instagram. So if you're watching me, if you want to if you want to subscribe, it means the world to me. And yeah, that's it. I'll be back next time with something else that doesn't have any importance whatsoever. Okay, thanks for listening. Bye. I am going to just super quickly add a little information about watching Top Chef last week, because I never posted my video with my feelings about the week before. So I'm just going to add this on and say that I am glad that Manny went home. But at the same time, like, I like Manny and I liked Manny throughout the season. But as I explained, I think I already explained, it was just that there were times when he was able to, keep going ahead where I wanted it to be somebody else, that made me be like, it's time for Manny to go home. And in this last episode, it was awesome that he like nailed the, they had to do that thing where they are blindfolded and they have to taste all of these different things, and his palate was amazing, and they showed him like scraping his tongue in the morning, and then Danny commented on that, like, yeah, scraping your tongue, that's the way to go to have that awesome palate and be able to figure out everything that's in these things. So he nailed that, and I love the way that Dan was talking about how he was going to breeze through this, and then he absolutely tanked it. I can't remember if he came in last, but I think he might have come in last. Anyway, when we get to the elimination challenge, it was supposed to be about your growth, like, since you've been on the show, and Manny did not do that. He made a dish that he's made before, and then he messed up the protein. So it was like, I hope that even though Dan's dish had been a complete disaster in the quick fire, that Manny goes and not Dan. And luckily it was Manny that went home. So now we'll see. But so I am rooting, I think, for Dan, although I'm liking Savannah more and more every week. And I don't know, like, this is just, I need to go and look and see who was in the finals, like, the last several seasons, because I feel like this is the finale. Well, we're not really at the finale. We're like at the penultimate episode that's going to be on tonight, I believe, anyway. But they'll be on this. They've left Wisconsin, and this is going to be on a cruise, which sounds fun. I don't remember the last time I was so uninvested emotionally. And I'm not saying that you have to be emotionally invested in this show to enjoy it. I mean, that's the point of the show is, good cooking, and it's a competition and stuff. But, that's kind of the way I don't know. Like, I like to root for people. This is my sports, this is my sports ball. Like, rooting for people on shows like this, or on Great British Baking Show, or RuPaul's Drag Race, or whatever. Like, it's fun to have somebody that you're rooting for, that you're pulling for. So I don't remember, though, the last time I was so like, I don't know. I guess, like, if Laura, I'm still mad at Laura for overspending on that challenge. So if Laura wins the whole thing, I'll be very disappointed. But, like, if it is Savannah, I will think she has earned it. If it's Dan or Danny, same. So I don't really have anybody that I'm like, again, Dan is probably my favorite, but at the same time, I'm just not as excited as I have been for other finales. So I'm wondering if anybody else feels the same way, or if that's just me being weird. Anyway, that's it. Thanks for watching. I already said that in the last one because I didn't know that I was going to do another video. But thanks for watching. Thanks for being here. And yeah, let me know what you guys think. Okay, thanks. Bye. I'd really love to do like all of my video with like good lighting, makeup, a little concealer to cover up my gigantic spot. But I'm gonna I'm going to talk for like maybe 30 seconds right now while it's a commercial and say, first thing, they're in Curacao, and they greet them with like blue Curacao drinks, which like took me back to being like 21 and wanting to get like a blue drink when I went places, because I thought that was amazing. Number two, they they bring on a lady and they're going to cook with a lionfish, and they talk about how this fish is invasive. It's not supposed to be in the Pacific because it like goes around and eats babies off of the reef. And I didn't make it in 30 seconds. Hold on. And then they show this fish, and it is like so ugly. Like, sorry, but it's really ugly. I don't know why I'm saying sorry, because it's not like there are any of those guys that are watching right now. And then they show it swimming around, and I'm like, this looks like a freaking zebra turkey fish off of Animal Crossing. And then I went and Googled it, and like, yes, zebra lionfish, also called a zebra turkey fish. And apparently they have quills that are like, I think they call them quills or fins, or I don't know what you call it. They're sticking up. They look like quills, that are quite venomous and, can hurt you. And you can, like, if you're trying to, so they did not make them break it down, because it was hilarious. Dan was like, yeah, no, thanks. Hard pass on that. And, what was I going to say? I feel so weird as a woman and as a person of color rooting for the cisgender white guy on the show when we have a woman, a Latina woman, and we have another woman, and we have um, a Latinx male. I don't know. I'm born in 1970, and so sometimes it's hard for me to keep up with using the correct words. So I'm going to go correct myself and like put what I'm supposed to like refer to people. But they're people of color. And so like my first instinct is always like, especially when being a chef forever was a white male dominated sort of field, it just feels sort of like boring to be rooting for him. Yet I am. He's my favorite. But I just wanted to make that comment that I don't know what I'm saying. There are people who will understand what I'm saying, and other people who will be like, what the fuck are you talking about right now? But anyway, um, I like Savannah more and more as it goes on. So I'd be thrilled. I'd be thrilled to see a woman win. So yeah, emotionally speaking, I'm going to say Dan and Savannah are my top two, but I just have a special place in my heart for Dan. He's old, the blue glasses, the cane, all these things that I've mentioned before a bunch of times. And yeah, all right, let me get back to it. Okay, so we're up to them. Okay, so let's go back to the quickfire. Um, Everybody did pretty well. The quickfire was that they had to use that lionfish and cheese. They had to use Gouda, which, seafood and cheese is always supposed to be the taboo thing. Personally, give me a crab melt any day of the week and I will be fine. Um, and I love cheese. So anyway, so they all did pretty well. Like the only note that they really gave Danny was that they wanted more. I think they wanted more of the fish taste. He did like a croquette with like a cheese sauce. They had asked, did he have cheese in the croquette, and he didn't. So maybe they would have liked to seen that incorporated with, but also more cheese. And then Dan wound up winning with his, which was fantastic. Um, and then they find out what the challenge is going to be. They're going to have to get on this boat on the cruise ship, which is amazing, and cook uh, an 8-course menu with 8 different types of fish and 8 different types of cooking methods. There's no way that I'll be able to name them, but like raw, poached, steamed, a mousse, roasted, blackened, and 2 other things. So, and Savannah gets to choose what 2 fish she wants and what 2 cooking methods she wants, because she won the elimination challenge last episode. So, she chooses hers. Nobody's having to quibble. I mean, she gets to choose. And then Danny chooses his, and everybody's like, cool, cool. And now we're down to Laura and Dan trying to choose theirs, and they both want snapper. And then we go to a commercial because they're kind of like, this is good. I mean, Laura grew up eating snapper, so I get why she would want that. So it'll be interesting to see how this turns out. my favorite versus my not favorite. And then I'm skipping the best part, which was they get on the boat and freaking Morimoto, the man, the myth, the legend, is there. If you're not familiar with Morimoto, he's absolutely a legend. He was one of the original Iron Chefs, as in like on the Japanese show with like that is so amazing to watch, either dubbed or with the subtitles. They're both amazing versions, and um, he's a fabulous chef. I have had the pleasure of eating in his restaurant in Napa. He was not there, but I did meet him at the Pebble Beach Food and Wine in 2012. I had to go back and look at pictures to go find out. I remember thinking he was amazing and a sweetie, and I was losing my mind because these people, like, going to the Art and Wine Festival, and you see like a lot of chefs that you've seen on TV, and those are my rock stars. You know, just the way that I said that this stuff is my sports ball. You know, these like rooting for these people. This is like how people like the sports. That's me, like with chefs and stuff. So it was amazing to meet him, and these people are like losing their minds. And Dan makes the funniest comment about, you know, this is crazy. He's gonna cook for me and these goons. Like, what is happening right now? And Savannah's thrilled because she does a lot of Japanese cooking, so she's like, this is basically the highlight of my life. And Morimoto's first course is this tuna pizza, and he puts it down and he goes, tuna pizza, it's good because I made it, that's why. And I was like, Morimoto has jokes. I absolutely love him, and love to see how excited they were. So anyway, let's see what happens with Red Snapper after this commercial. Okay, so far 3 dishes in to our 8-course progressive. I don't know if they called it a progressive, but it's an 8-course menu for fresh fish. Okay, so first up is Savannah with raw, and they really like it. It's Ed Lee, who I'm so excited Ed Lee is there because I love him. I just looked it up. I think he was from season 9 of Top Chef. Absolutely adore Ed Lee. Thought it was a little big, but then Kristen was like, yeah, it's supposed to be like that. But they did say her sauce was a little bit grainy, but still, for the most part, I think they really enjoyed that. Next up was Laura. She had steamed, and she did something in a banana leaf, but they said that there was dirt in the banana leaves, which is probably that's not good. I mean, it's good for me because she's the one that I don't want to win, which is, again, I feel so petty every time I say that, but she spent all of Manny's money, or Danny's money that time, so, on that challenge. And then next up was Danny, and he had mousse, and his mousse didn't set right, and Kristen thought maybe it was the lack of the leaf blowers outside. Fuck me. Kristen thought maybe it was too much egg whites, not enough fat or something. And when they set it down, the first thing Tom said was, did you cook this? Which is never a good sign, so not good. Okay, back to it. Okay, the next 3 things that we had, now I don't have a leaf blower outside, but my washer is in its loud mode right now, so I'm sorry about that. So we have Dan coming up with his poached dish, and that got mixed reviews because I think that, if I remember correctly, some of it was undercooked, if I'm not mistaken. So that sucks. Next up was Savannah with her fried dish, and somebody made a comment that she's playing it safe, like with both of her dishes, but they mostly like that. But Gail, I think, said that she wished there was a little more juiciness on it. And then Laura came out with hers. Somebody said something about the sauce being broken. It was supposed to be roasted, but Tom said that it was baked, the way that she's describing as opposed to roasted, which now makes me want to look up the difference between roasting and baking, because I'm not a cook. And if you told me roasted, I would just be like, it needs to go in the oven, which is also how you bake stuff, so I have no idea. But somebody had raw fish. Kristen said hers wasn't raw, but it was not cuttable, which is bad. And yeah, so it's not looking good for Laura, which again is looking good for me since I like everybody else better. But anyway, but They also said, Kristen said it was like, it's as if, to the like to Ed Lee and to the other people that are there. She's like, they've all cooked so much better than this. I think it was Kristen that said that as opposed to Tom. And, but they're talking about they've got nerves and stuff because, it's the finals and shit. So it's a big deal. Anyway, let's go see how the last two dishes come out because we just need Dan and Danny with their last two. So we'll see how it goes. Last two dishes were Danny and Dan, and Danny had smoked, and they seemed to really like that. Somebody said something about smoked fish is dry, but because that's just the nature of it. But it was like had this creamy like foam on top. They said that really helped. There was something else texturally, I think, that Kristen liked, so great sign. Ed Lee said that Dan's blackened snapper was his favorite dish of the entire meal. So I feel fairly confident that my boy Dan, is going to be going to the final, to the top three. It's looking really good for him. And if I had to, I cannot imagine that it's not Laura that's going to go home based on her two dishes, but we'll see what happens. All right, so that's it. We're about to go to, we got our final three. Danny won because they loved that dish that, the way they were talking about it, I thought that they liked Dan's dish better than Danny's, but apparently they liked Danny's better. So he won. And then Dan was the next to be announced going to the finals, and then Laura went home as suspected. But listening to the judges talk about it, it's basically like Savannah lucked out that Laura made flaws because they found Laura's stuff more interesting than what Savannah had done, but Laura messed it up. So anyway, I'm excited. Kristen got really emotional because, Tom was saying, I know you guys are, this is exciting. I know you feel like you didn't do your best today because everybody did something that they messed up and stuff. And Kristen was like, enjoy it. This is only going to happen one time and it's fucking awesome. And then she got all emotional, and then Tom goes to comfort her, and it was really sweet. Like everybody started tearing up, including me. So, granted, I cried at the drop of a hat, but still, it was very emotional. So anyway, excited going into the last episode. And as much shit as I've talked about this not being like, other episodes and stuff, I'm going to 100% go into mourning when it's done, because it still is, I think, probably my favorite TV show. So anyway, once again, for the third time, thanks for listening. Since I've put all of this shit together, really, if you've watched this whole thing, I hope you got your bathroom cleaned, is basically what's happened, or that you enjoyed your BART ride, or, wherever you took me today. Anyway, thanks so much. Okay, bye.